But I'm funny how? I ain't funny like I'm a clown and lose you.
Oh, it's good to be back.
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Yeah, maybe after 9/11 where everybody got so sensitive. Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
Hello, you don't know? These are no fuckers, though.
I'm as mad as hell, but I'm not going to take this anymore.
You can't handle the truth.
Hello.
Hello.
If you've tuned into the vice president debate, you're on the wrong channel. Go somewhere else. But we will fight just as much, so get ready for that. The first time ever, Sup Nerds is probably the most correct statement that you can ever say, because Robert was talking about what he did to get this, and man, nerd. All right, this is a top 40. Again, if you like this and it does well, we'll do more. If it doesn't do well, we'll probably still do more. So first I got TWOHIG. I like you sometimes. I don't like you other times. Do you think I'm going to like you during this top 40 special because you have some takes when it comes to comic book movies. You always see stuff with like this positive light that really just pisses me off because you have to watch these all the time. But how do you think you'll do tonight? Black 2's not that bad.
Sue me for liking things. I think I'll do
I will.
Average. Well, we're going to hope for the podium, but we're not going to make any promises.
That's fair. Nick Carley, do you think that you will do better than the Pittsburgh Pirates this year? And that's a low bar to clear, but do you think you can do it?
I think that's a very easy goal, to be honest with you. But no, main thing is I'm just going to be mad at all the scenes that I didn't think of that I probably should have put on my list. But that's probably the story for everybody. So I like my list, and we'll see how everyone else does, especially you.
Yeah, Koho, if you could please keep track of a counter of how many times they go, oh, man, that's a good one. Of course. Thomas Scully, you're a nerd. You like these movies. You like these scenes. You probably had to watch a lot this year because you like to play in geek leagues. The oh shit counter. I like it. Thank you.
Yes.
Koho, the best of the biz, I'll tell you. How do you think you're going to do tonight? I hope you do better than joining factions. So, yeah, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I think I'll do well. I mean, I think I picked a good, diverse group of scenes from, like, pure action to pure emotion, like a hybrid of both. This is the first time I've actually put in a lot of work on a list for Your List Sucks. So if I get last place, I'm really mad at myself. And mad at you too, but mostly myself.
That's fair. Most people get mad at me, and I still don't care. I'm Robert. Yeah, you are probably the biggest of the nerd of everybody on this panel. You've seen these movies. You've probably seen Catwoman about 14,000 times. So how many scenes from Catwoman are going to make this list tonight?
So I said this before that like I brainstormed a bunch of movies that I think like, oh man, they have like a right to be in consideration for this list. I had like 260, then I had to cut it down to 40. There was one Catwoman scene on my initial brainstorm. It was there. It got cut very early. So it's not on my list, but there was one in consideration.
All right. That's kind of scary. Okay. Lucas, you're gonna get timed out. I made the political joke. We are not making any political references. Nico, stay out of the chat. Okay, with that, how the show's gonna work? We are gonna be here for the next 4 weeks. It's top 40. We'll work through this combined list together. We'll make an overall combined list, and this will be the definitive best list of comic book scenes ever made. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So. List works the same. Everybody came with the top 40 this time. It's still going to work like the normal format, 10 through 1. So, Tua, you're going to kick it off. You're going to kick us with your 40, your 39, and your 38. What are they?
All right. Number 40. Some days, you guys, it's been a rough day. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. Batman 66. My number... Sorry, I paused for the yikes. I thought that might be one.
Glad you haven't, though.
I mean,
number 39 is Can't Smile Without You, a scene from Hellboy 2, The Golden Army.
I have it, but I have it lower.
So
You have it at 40.
I have it at 40, yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's still not a yikes. You're good. You'll both talk about it right here, right now. And then what's your 38?
Lovely. 38 is Arthur Rides the Carathan, Aquaman. What do I do?
Okay, yeah, you talk about your 40 and your 38, and then you and Scully can talk about your 39.
Okay, here's the thing. This could have been a list of top 100 scenes, top 200 scenes, and this scene would have been on there dead last, no matter how long the list needed to be. I love Batman 66 for what it is, acknowledging that it's a terrible movie. Usually I'm drinking right along watching it. This is by far the best scene that sums up what that movie is when Adam West is just running around with a bomb. No one around him is reacting to the fact that Batman is running around with a bomb. There are ducks that prevent him from throwing the bomb in the water. There's a marching band. It is campy and ridiculous, and I love every second of it. And it just sums up what Batman 66 is as a whole. And then, so 38. Listen, I really like Aquaman. I don't love Worlds of DC as a whole. I think Wonder Woman was really good. And then after Justice League, they've sort of started to correct the ship. I think Aquaman's one of the better ones. And this is by far, spoiler alert, I don't have any other scenes from Aquaman. I think this is the best scene in Aquaman when Arthur just rises out of the ground aboard Julie Andrews. And it's a lot of CGI. For me, probably is right. For me, the CGI works. It's a big battle scene. I think it's the best you could have done a battle underwater. I really commend James Wan for making so much happen at once. That for me doesn't get bogged down or overloaded, but for others it may, which I would understand. But for me, it's the coolest part of Aquaman being the climax of the movie.
And now you're 39.
Cool. So my 39, Can't Smile Without You. This is a really tender scene. It's more of a personal scene between two characters who are just the most wild out there creations of a comic book writer brought to life by Guillermo del Toro in Hellboy and Abe Sapien. And my favorite part about this scene is it really humanizes them to where it's literally just a guy talking to another guy about a girl he likes and like what he should do, and they're having beers while the song Can't Smile Without You plays in the background and they sing along to it. So I just love it for its ability. I just love it for its ability to humanize two characters who seem furthest from human.
That's my 40. So that's my 40. I had to include on this list because that's a scene that really makes me laugh. Because Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, it's a pretty serious film, and then all of a sudden you have this moment in the middle where Hellboy and Abe have a very human moment and just bond together, as buddies, drinking and singing. A very relatable moment. Definitely more of a personal pick for me. It slots in there nicely as my 40.
Well, I really like one of your bottom three at this point. Batman 66. Listen, I've always said this as somebody that is sober. I envy the days that you could just get hammered and watch a movie and enjoy it for that purpose. This movie sucks. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. I remember seeing the part and was like, oh, I hate that. Michael Campbell, by the way, you're about to enter Oofville. You're on back-to-back episodes of Multiplex shows that are getting a little cringe. You're 38. You're 39. I love Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. I actually think it's one of the most underrated comic book movies that has ever been made. Like, it's one of the best sequels out there. As somebody that liked the Hellboy and then Hellboy 1, like Hellboy 1 and then this one, I think this is a great scene from that. I don't know if it'd make top, but I understand why. It's a very lighthearted scene, and shows like the soft side of Hellboy. 38. I don't like Aquaman. I just don't. I think Jason Momoa is not that good of an actor, if we're being 100% honest. He's just fit the part and decided to not make Aquaman, a blonde-haired guy in teal pants. They've decided to make him way bigger and stronger, which is cool, but I think I'm not a big fan of it. But again, it's the bottom half of your list, so I can't hate you too much. We'll see what you don't have. That's when we'll see that. Nick, what is your 40 through 38?
Okay, my 40 from 2002 Spider-Man. I went with the wrestling scene where Spider-Man becomes, I guess, Spider-Man. Anybody? Okay, it's kind of surprising.
I wish it was so hard to put that.
Yeah, my 39 is Magneto lifting the baseball stadium in X-Men: Days of Future Past, and then my 38 is I guess Jack Napier coming up the "You Can Call Me Joker" scene from Batman '89. Oh, okay. Well, that probably
We're starting strong, everyone. We're
apparently that shows up.
I love all those scenes. I just had to cut them, like all of them.
I get it. No, this was, as this is a tough list. But okay, starting with the wrestling scene, this just really got me into the film. Just how, him coming up and they're all laughing at him for joining, and I won't go into detail. We've all seen this scene. But I love Bruce Campbell in this scene. I love the whole bone saw thing. Randy Savage is perfect in this scene in my opinion for the kind of campy playing he's doing. So it's just a scene that's always stuck out in that film, and that's what sucked me in and enjoyed the Spider-Man films as a whole. And then 39. I'm a big fan of these recent X-Men films. Days of Future Past is probably my favorite of the newer ones, and just this is one where just Michael Fassbender just kind of shows off, and this is his big distraction to get over to where everybody else is, and I don't know, it was just a really cool scene of seeing him lift literally an entire baseball stadium and carry it across the city and drop it on top of basically the White House. So that was just a really cool scene all the way around. And it just like this Spider-Man scene, it sticks out really well to me. And then for 38, the Batman '89, I loved Jack Nicholson as the Joker. This is sort of his being like, really encompassing the character and talking about, I've already died once. It was a huge relief and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed the whole thing, and I had to include it on this list, even if it was at the bottom. So that's what I have there.
What was your 38?
38.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. You Can Call Me Joker.
Okay.
Yeah.
40. Spider-Man wrestling scene. I absolutely love the scene from this movie. Macho Man. I got you for 3 minutes. It's one of my. It's definitely nostalgia. I don't know if it's best comic book scene, but at 40, I'm not going to fault you. If Michael Campbell was here, the top 10 would be Spider-Man films scenes. So he thinks it's too low. The next one is Days of Future Past. I absolutely love Days of Future Past. I think it's the best X-Men movie. Magneto lifts the stadium. There's argument. Is it a football stadium? Is it a baseball stadium? I think it's a baseball. I honestly do. It's a baseball.
It's a joke to a different thing.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know what was going on. Okay, that's fine. But no, I think Magneto is. The X-Men did something really cool with Ian McKellen and Fassbender, and having probably two of the most dominant comic book villains and not have to lose a beat with either one of them. This scene I remember watching in the theaters, and it was so sweet when he lifts the entire thing and drops it right there. I think this definitely is one of those scenes. There's a lot of scenes you can pick from Days of Future Past. I think you picked a good one. 38, I'll lose the chat here. Fuck Batman 89. I don't like Batman 89. I don't like anything from Batman 89, to be honest with you. It's very... No, you're good. You're good. You're allowed to defend what you like. I think it's still shit. I think DC is literally a graveyard. I think DC movies are just graveyards. They're just depressing as shit, and I'm tired of watching them. But Batman '89, at least you didn't say fucking Rhubarb or half the other stuff. Like, call him Joker, that's fine. I'd actually rather take Joaquin Phoenix asking Robert De Niro to call him Joker over anything from '89. Okay, Thomas, what is it? What's your 40 through 38?
My 40 was already said. It was Hellboy. My 39 is Thor versus Hulk from Thor Ragnarok. And my 38 is Mysterio's Illusions in Berlin from Spider-Man Far From Home.
I believe. 1 second. I need to
That's a yikes for another episode for me.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's a yikes for later this episode for me.
Okay, so don't talk about it then either, Robert. All right, so you only get to talk about Thor versus Hulk. Thomas, go ahead.
So this is just one of the pure action scenes that I chose to put on this list. I figured that, this is a scene that, while recent, it's still very memorable in my head. I think that the comedy from Thor, this is where I think Chris Hemsworth's comedy shines out about the most in that film, during this scene where he's sort of joking with Hulk and then realizes, oh, he's not the Hulk I know anymore. But for the most part, it's a really cool, fun action scene. You get to see Loki kind of being out of character, all celebrating and happy. And then the Grandmaster at the end is, I love Jeff Goldblum in this scene, just his reactions and everything. But overall, this is a great pure action scene. Love the comedy from Hemsworth. So yeah, this it made my list.
Yeah, I am not a huge fan of the first two Thors, and this one I went in very skeptical, and I was really surprised. I think this is the one thing that Thor movies needed, was some levity and some fun, and this is definitely what they did in this one. I think the Thor versus Hulk scene, I still laugh at it this day. It's like, we're friends from work, and then that fight that happens is pretty sweet to see those two fight again, because I think that's my favorite fight from Avengers. The first Avengers is when they actually battled the first time, because they're the two that can match each other's strength for strength. So yeah, great choice. Okay, Robert, close out the bottom half.
All right, so my number 40 is from V for Vendetta. It is V's intro scene. It is his introduction when he saves Evie from the Fingerman.
Okay.
My number 39 is from Batman Begins. It's the Bruce's training montage with the League.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's fair.
I think I have.
Okay. My number 38 then is the opening credits of Watchmen.
That's a yikes for me for another episode.
Okay.
Okay. This is going bad. This is bad.
It's okay. We're good. So I have a propensity for opening scenes. I really like opening scenes that put you directly in just the feel, into the atmosphere of the movie. V's intro in this movie does that perfectly. It really puts you in the world. There's these secret police that are about to basically sexually assault Natalie Portman's character, Evie. There's the secret police, there's the criminal underground. It puts you into this whole atmosphere. We see V's combat skills. We see him be sort of quippy. He goes, "I'm not questioning your powers of observation. I'm just asking why would you ask a masked man who he is? That's a dumb question." He says his symbol. He just I swear to the God, they just opened a thesaurus and said every word that started with V. We really get, honestly, the best Hugo Weaving acting in the movie, in my opinion, in this scene, where he just gets very, very loud and then pulls back suddenly, and then he laughs and he's very gentlemanly to her. So definitely just gets you in the right atmosphere for V for Vendetta. My number 39, we said was not yikes. So I'm going to talk about it. Bruce Chains with the League. I love Batman Begins. I love this scene. I like how Ra's al Ghul sort of digs into Bruce a little bit. He's oh, it's Thomas Wayne's death, or it's his fault that your family died. And we see sweaty Christian Bale, which is always great. We sort of get, we don't know it's Ra's al Ghul yet, but we get into his character, how he's talking about the imprisoned man. Clearly he's an extremist, and he's the training is nothing. It's just a very good glimpse into sort of not only physically how Batman became Batman, but also sort of morally. We see him clash with Ra's al Ghul a little bit, which I really like. And then my number 38, we're going to talk about later.
Okay. So V for Vendetta. This was actually a first time really watch for me. I've seen clips and I've seen bits and pieces, but I never sat down and watched the full movie. And I thoroughly loved it. I think V's intro is a fantastic scene. You're right; it throws you right into what you're expecting in this world, and you get a real good glimpse into who V is at the time. So, great choice with that one. Your 39. It was
The training montage in Batman.
training montage. Batman Begins. I'll peek behind the curtain. If you have this movie, you're going to be in good graces. Batman Begins is my favorite comic book movie. I think it's incredible.
This is Barr.
Yeah, yeah. Sweaty Christian Bale. Just Robert. That actually moves Robert's stars on Letterboxd about one full if he sweats.
That's true.
I think this training montage in the glimpse is how many people have told me how boring Batman Begins is for the beginning because he's not Batman. I actually really love I enjoy the beginning parts of Batman Begins. So yeah, great choices for both. I think maybe Trains in the League would have been a little higher on mine, but can't hate it. Now, the gloves come off. People get to start punching each other, tell them how stupid they are for having this movie like Twohig would have got if he put the fucking Batman 66 in the top half. So, go ahead. 37 through 34.
I think at least one other person would have commended me for having Batman 66. Anyway.
I don't know if that's actually true, but it's good.
The number 37. I didn't know what to call it, so I said the 6 in a circle from the event.
Yikes for later this episode.
Cool. So 36. I have the opening house raid from Red.
It's a good pick.
Yeah.
You just told me how to do I talk about it now? Huh?
Oh, yeah. If no one else has it, yeah, you talk about it. Go ahead.
I knew that. Okay, so this is a very good opening to Red, which is essentially a movie about the idea of agents and assassins being retired, meaning like they're not good anymore. But Red means you're retired, but you're still extremely dangerous. So I think this opening scene encapsulates that idea perfectly because you have Bruce Willis walking around as if he's a decrepit old man walking around his at night. He's a frying pan, put something out like he's making breakfast early in the morning, and then you realize there are people inside his house. And he all of a sudden like turns the tides and takes out the people. You realize he was putting bullets in the pan and heating them up so it would sound like shots were being fired, and then they just destroy his house. It's one of the coolest flip of a switch action scenes in a comic book movie in the sense that I didn't see it coming from a mile away. And I like the movie overall. I think it was a good way to open it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Red was another one of a first-time watch of this year that I didn't see beforehand. And I enjoyed the hell out of Red. I think Red is super fun if you don't take it too seriously. If you just enjoy Red for what it is, it's a lot of fun. You're 100% right. This opening scene is the opening house raid is really cool because I was like, how are they going to – what's this movie like? Because I didn't know much going into it. I knew like what Red stood for, and I knew who was in it. And then that scene kicks in, and it was a sweet scene, like to start off a movie, especially, and it looked like Bruce Willis cared a little bit while he was, trying to get out of it. So, yeah. Everybody else on the Red opening raid house raid. Blah, blah, blah. Go ahead.
You're gonna hear from me a lot. This whole thing probably that I had it in my brainstorming, but I had to cut it. Yeah, Cody basically said everything. It's a really good movie if you just turn your brain off and enjoy it for what it's meant to be. But this is definitely the scene from this movie if you're going to pick one from this movie.
Yeah, I love this movie. This isn't the scene I would choose from Red. There was another scene I had sort of pecking around my 40, but this is still a really awesome scene. The way Bruce Willis is able to take out all the guys who enter his house is kind of, it gives you like, oh shit, this guy's a badass. Really good character intro scene. So yeah, this is a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, just to hop on everybody else's, I love this movie. I think it's very underrated. It's one of those movies I really need to watch again. And that opening scene, like TWOHIG'S says, just hooks you in for the rest of the movie, and I really enjoyed it. So it's a good one.
Woo! I'm doing better.
All right. You're
Oh,
safe
he
for
doesn't
right now.
cheer.
35.
Good
All right,
atmosphere.
my 35. So I meant to write Iron Man escapes Golmira from Iron Man.
Yikes for later this episode.
Okay.
That is a yikes for me as well for another episode.
Gidok. And then the 34 is a simple series of tests from Men in Black. Okay, so this is where Will Smith goes there the night after meeting Tommy Lee Jones, and he sort of sits down, and they say, "Okay, fill it out." And what I like the most about this scene is it sort of cues you into the tone of the movie, in the sense that all the tests they're really testing for different things. Like the point is not what you write on the paper; the point is how you figure out how to write on the paper. The point is not to kill the aliens; the point is to notice what the aliens are doing, and Will Smith plays it perfectly, only the way that Will Smith does. And I think it's just a really good scene, probably my favorite scene, because it encapsulates what the Men in Black are supposed to be. The movies got really bad as they went on, but this first one's great, and I think this is a great scene from it.
Yeah, I had to look back up this one. I haven't seen Men in Black in a while, and scene was okay for me. I don't know if I'd put it in the top one, but I don't think I put a lot in Men in Black. Top scenes in Men in Black in my, if I'm being honest. So this is where your list took a little, because especially I'm not a Fandom champion by any means, but Iron Man escaping from, I guess, the cave. Is that what that one was?
Yeah.
And this is higher. That's just disrespectful. Everybody else on Men in Black.
I'm not a huge fan of Men in Black in general, to be honest. I mean, this is a fine scene. I've just never really enjoyed this movies. So just being straightforward. Just
well, that's what we require on the show. Straightforwardness. It's what the show's built on. Thomas, what do you think?
So I like the first Men in Black. The thing for me is I really can't pinpoint a certain scene that stands out. I think the movie is good in general. There's just not one particular scene that really stands out to me as memorable. So,
fair enough.
Robert.
Awesome scene. Not one that stands out. I have a different scene from this franchise later on that I like more.
And don't worry, Twig, if you're getting down, Tim came to defend you, like always. It's like Kansas City all over again. All right, Nick.
Yep.
Carly.
Yes.
Start with your 37.
Okay. My 37 is from History of Violence, and it's the diner fight, or the diner encounter, however you want to incur it.
It's a very politically correct word, encounter.
It's a fight.
Yep. Okay, I guess. And then my 36 is
Nope.
Sorry.
You get to talk one at a time this time.
Okay, gotcha. My bad.
Barr, cue the quick comment. Okay, go ahead. 37.
Okay. So this I just watched History of Violence actually for the first time very recently. That's why it's kind of lower on my list, but just this scene is where these two guys come in, and basically we find out who Viggo Mortensen's character really is, and this is just really well shot of going back and forth between these two guys that are just obviously trying to cause trouble, and then Viggo Mortensen just turns on a switch and destroys both of them, like it just real quick. No, don't waste any time. So I just thought it was really brilliant, and because that leads into the rest of the film of what goes on after that. So I just really liked how that was, that was the turning point that showed where like his past and what he was doing. So I really enjoyed that scene. So really like that.
This movie was the first time watch for me, and fuck, this movie is a thrill ride. Like this is one of those surprising ones. By the way, if you didn't know it, it always fucking ends with Ed Harris. So just remember that. It's always Ed Harris. But no, this diner fight scene is like, because I didn't know much about the movie. Like I went in there, I heard great things. I knew it got a nomination for like William Hurt, like I was like, I don't know much about it, but then this scene literally takes off, and I'm like, damn. Like the knife. This is when the knife goes right through his foot, like at the beginning, and you're like, okay, this is holding no punches. Yeah, I there's a lot of scenes I think you could pick from this movie. I'm okay with the diner fight being one of them, especially in the bottom half. So that's a good pick. Everybody else on the diner fight scene in History of Violence?
Yeah, I love this scene. I think Cronenberg directs this scene really, really well. There's another scene from this movie that I prefer just a little bit more, and it may or may not show up later on. I don't know. We'll see. But I still do really, really enjoy this scene. So yeah, this is a great pick.
Yeah, there's another scene from this movie I like more too. It's not on my list. Neither of them are. Spoiler alert. But this scene is also really great. Like you said, everything right about it. That it is Viggo Mortensen just kind of going nuts, and everybody around him just is taken aback by like the things that he does. So very good scene.
Yeah, no, I love the movie. I love the scene. I love pretty much every scene in this movie. Yeah. They probably, if we did a top 50, I probably would have had one to represent it. But I was thinking about it, and I just couldn't pick one. I was like, yeah, nothing really stands out just from memory. I would have had to like rewatch it again. But yeah, good pick.
Thanks.
You bet.
It's not true, Tim. That's a rough scene.
Oh,
yikes!
I was really hoping that wouldn't get brought up, but
Tim is gonna get timed out on this and watch what happens.
Of all the people, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
weird. All right. What is your 36?
my 36 is I guess I called it the Rorschach, or sorry, from Watchmen, Rorschach prison scene, the prison fight. I know. So I don't know. I just really, it's the big thing that hooks it all is the big line that he says after he throws the fry oil on the guy's face. He's like, "You guys don't understand. You think I'm locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me." And I just think that just encapsulates Rorschach's character and really like puts a really good vibe for the rest of the film. And for the whole prison escape after that and all that. So I don't know. It's just one of the very main scenes that sticks out in my head when I watch this movie, and I really enjoy it. So yeah.
I think I was asleep during this part of Watchmen.
That's fair.
With you.
That's fair.
Was this like the ultimate extra, like buy 4 get the 5th free version of Watchmen, or was this in the theatrical cut? Because I'm not fucking sure. I hate Watchmen. Oh, okay. I hate Watchmen. Yeah. I think the director.
That's fair.
One of my least favorite directors of all time. And this movie would be shorter if he didn't do so many slow-mos. But this scene is cool. But it's kind of like the same thing in like BVS. It's cool, the last fight scene, but like there's not enough in there to hook me full to make me love this movie. Actually, I despise this movie, I'll be honest with you. I'll be surprised if you lose because you have too many Watchmen scenes. What does everybody else think about Watchmen? No one else had this scene. So, like, that's pretty cool. You all are in good graces right now.
Mean, and unfortunately, I have one more because I already yiked them. So,
Nick, put down the shovel. Put down the shovel. You're burying yourself right now. All right, what does everybody else think?
I'll go. I don't love this film. However, I have scenes on my list from films that I don't love that I think are just good scenes on their own. This is a pretty good scene. But like, I just nothing from Watchmen has ever really stood out to me as being like overly spectacular, other than really Jackie Earle Haley's performance. So like, I commend that that's in this scene. But outside of that, Watchmen just doesn't do it for me.
That's fair.
Yeah, I enjoy this scene, but if I were to make a top 10 Watchmen scenes, this honestly would be lower on my list. I think there are a lot of other scenes in this movie that I enjoy more. So yeah, I think in terms of Watchmen scenes overall, unless you have more Watchmen scenes on your list, this is a little bit of a weaker pick in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great quote that really does some of the Rorschach character. And when he gets his mask back and like goes into the bathroom, like there's good moments, but like as a scene, top 40 just didn't cut it for me.
Okay.
Just saying, you probably put it on the
Nice
screen.
to know everyone.
Bar's answer is like you have two scenes. You're not caught. You're locked in here with Cody. That's fantastic.
That's fair.
Okay. Go to 35. That is the most truth statement ever, Cam. That is so truthful.
Okay.
It can get better. It can get better. I promise. We're in this. We'll just breathe.
Okay. So no, my 35. I did the movie 300, and I did Tonight We Dine in Hell and the following fight scene after that. So I know this is a super cheesy line the more I thought about it, but there's a lot of really fun scenes in this film, and that first battle, with the slow-mo and everything. I don't know. It's another one of those turn your brain off films that I can sit down and really enjoy the theatrics of everything. So it was very well shot. I know it's another of your favorite director Zack Snyder's films, but so it's like, so if, I'll shut up while I have some sort of dignity left. But anyways, I like these turn your brain off popcorn films, and this just fit right into my bill. So that's where I'll go with that.
No, so I do not like Zack Snyder, but I like 300.
Okay.
It's the one movie of his that I actually do enjoy. I haven't seen it in a long time, but is the next battle scene is when their arrows will block out the sun, then we'll fight in the shade? Like the same scene?
No, it's the
Okay, then you picked the wrong scene.
Yeah, I know I did. I clearly did. I know. I messed up.
Yeah. Because I absolutely love that line. Like, I absolutely love "Then we'll fight in the shade" or "This is Sparta" when he kicks it. That scene alone, when he kicks the shit, that scene. But 300 has honestly good moments. The only reason I'm down on 300 a little bit because, my God, that sequel came out and that thing is atrocious. So it doesn't make me want to watch 300 really anymore. But I have no problem with this. That's at least you had this one. If you would have had this one under Watchmen, we may have some conversations. What does everybody else think about 300 Tonight We Dine in Hell?
This 300 is just a movie of one-liners. I used to say this line every time I went to the dining hall with my friends. But I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while since I've seen 300, so I don't quite remember this scene as well as I would like. But I remember enjoying it, not loving it. So yeah, I'm indifferent about this pick.
Yeah, good line. In my opinion, there's better speeches in the movie. Like, I think David Wenham has a better speech than what this line is. But still a decent movie. If you're going to pick a scene from 300, like, not mad that you picked this one.
Yeah, no. 300 is probably one of those movies that I don't love, but probably had a scene I could have pulled. I just, again, hadn't seen it in so long. And I think this is probably the best example of why Zack Snyder should be a cinematographer and not a director.
And by the way, Barr wants to retire the phrase "turn off your brain." Then stop doing it when you make a list for your YLS. All right, you're 34, Carly.
Okay, my 34 is I shouldn't have said fight, but I included the Golden State Bridge scene from X-Men: The Last Stand, where he moves the bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge. Golden Gate. Oh God,
it's in the Golden State.
You're fine. You're fine. You're doing fine.
You're good. Does that count as one on our oh shit counter?
Well, the chat certainly doesn't think so. I'll say that, maybe.
All right.
Anyway,
go ahead.
So, anyways, yeah. So, I don't know. This is just another just very fun. Like, okay, here, like, all these people are crossing the bridge, and then all of a sudden, everybody moves apart, and he comes through, and it's just a very well shot, very fun scene, fits the film very well. And the fact that he literally picks up the entire Golden Gate Bridge and moves it over to Alcatraz to get where he needs to go and then ends it with the line of, Xavier always loves building bridges. It's just a very fun. I really enjoy that scene, and it was a really fun ending to that film. So I really like it.
You're a big fan of Magneto moving things, and I understand why. He is the best. He's the best at moving stuff. And also, Nick TWOHIG on the call made me realize something. This leads to a very bad part for Magneto's character of basically agreeing that the pawns go first, of who he is. That's where it's rough for me. This movie's bad. This movie is real bad when you look at it from a whole.
Oh, it's a bad film. Yeah.
But the overall, when he's sitting there and Ian McKellen even saying the cheesy line, but how he delivers it, it makes perfect sense that Charles is always saying that we should build bridges, and he just does it. Magneto's one of my favorite comic book characters of all time. I think he's got the best story. I think he technically most of the time not wrong what he wants to do, but he just doesn't handle it the best way. So I think this is a great scene. Probably a little lower on the list, or probably not on the list at all, but I understand why. Everybody else on the Golden Gate Bridge getting moved.
This is dope. This is a very good scene in a really crappy movie. So if you were going to pick a scene, this would be the one. If you had picked any others, I'd be worried. If you just cut out, once it lands and he gets to the end, if you say, okay, that's where the scene stops, I'm all for it. It actually came, I thought about it when I was making a list. It just didn't make the cut.
Yeah. Tonight we dine in hell. The main course, X-Men: The Last Stand. This movie sucks. I think this scene is fine. It's fine. As somebody who enjoys architecture, seeing the Golden Gate Bridge ripped out of its studs actually kind of hurt me a little bit. But that's a personal thing for me. I think the line about Charles building bridges is clever. One of the only clever things about this movie. I just don't like how Magneto is handled in this movie at all. But this scene in particular, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Agreed. Terrible movie. If you're going to pick the scene, it's either this one or when Magneto breaks Mystique out of the train jail thing, when they first meet Juggernaut, first meet Multiple Men. That scene is decent too. That was in my brainstorming. But overall, definitely a terrible movie. I do like this scene though. Like Nick said, if you cut it off right when the bridge lands, good scene.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas, what's 37?
All right, my 37 is I Am Iron Man from Iron Man.
That is a yikes for later this episode.
The end, the closing,
the press conference,
the press conference. Yeah,
gotcha.
Okay. My 36 is Jean Grey's Sacrifice from X2 X-Men United.
That's a good one.
Okay, so I think this is a really, really good scene. I think watching X2 again, I noticed Jean's sort of storyline throughout the entire movie, how it's all been building up to this. Because if you notice throughout the whole film, she's having issues with her powers. At the start of the film, Scott says, "Well, when we're asleep, the whole room shakes. What's going on?" And it's all leading up to this. It's this realization that she has to sacrifice herself in order to save her friends, the only family really she's ever known. It's a moment that's overshadowed, I think, because of the failures of Last Stand. This was supposed to be the very start of the Dark Phoenix subplot of the original X-Men trilogy, and it's ruined by Last Stand. But I think on its own, it still stands up. I think the acting in the scene is great, especially by James Marsden and Hugh Jackman. Marsden, I don't think it's enough credit for his portrayal as Cyclops. The emotions he conveys in this scene alone make him worthy of being one of the best performances in those original X-Men films. But yeah, this scene overall, a great sort of sacrifice scene, very emotional. So yeah, it made my list.
So I haven't seen Michael pop up in a while, so I can say this. X2 is one of those movies that from the early 2000s holds up probably the best of them. I like it. Spider-Man 2, I think Spider-Man 2 is great. I just think X2 is X-Men 2 is the closest thing that we've ever gotten to an actual X-Men movie. I will still stand by that. It's actually the team. It's not just Wolverine going on a mission with surrounded people with powers. That's basically what the X-Men turned into. Not that I don't like them. I love every one of them. It's just nice to see an X-Men movie. Gene Sacrifice. I'm personally not a fan of how they treat Scott Summers in these movies. He is kind of a whiny bitch, and I feel bad for him because that's not technically who Cyclops really is. But man, what I would kill to see the Dark Phoenix saga on screen actually work. And the same studio tried it twice and it didn't pay off. But this was like the perfect ending because you knew as soon as that happened, you knew where it was going and you're excited for it. So that gets my hopes up. Why the scene loses it, it's kind of meh because I know where it leads and it's sad where it leads. So, but no, I mean, when you look at the scene just by itself, it's a great scene. I think, especially like when they're like, Charles, stop her, and I can't get in. Like, she's that powerful. She shut him completely out. It's one of the most badass scenes ever because at that point you think Charles can do anything, and she's like, nope, I'm gonna let you fly off, and I'm gonna do this. So, yeah. Okay. What does everybody think about X2?
Good scene. There's other scenes from this movie that I prefer. I prefer, the fight at Iceman's family's house. I prefer Magneto stopping the plane as it's crash landing. I prefer, when the X Mansion gets raided. There's just scenes from this movie that I like. I prefer the fight between Wolverine and Stryker's assistant. Deathstrike, yeah. I prefer. So there's scenes in this movie I prefer, but I agree with Cody. This movie holds up really well, and this is a good scene, just not the one that I prefer.
Yep.
I love this movie.
Yes.
However, I've been sitting here because you said the scene, and I was like, why don't I like this scene? Like, am I annoyed because of where it went? Like, am I letting Last Stand get in the way? I figured it out. I get the not letting Professor X in there. Why couldn't she just have Nightcrawler stand next to her? And then right when the ship gets up, they get back on the thing. It's always I figured it out. Like, that has always bugged me. I'm like, she's just being a show off. She could let Nightcrawler right in there, and then once the ship's up and she literally puts her hands down to let the water come, poof, they're back on the ship. So that has always bothered me, but it's a very small nitpick outside. All the acting, everything you said about the acting and stuff is all true. But yeah, that one little thing has always bothered me.
That's the issue. You watch comic book movies all the time, and that's the issue. Fair. How the fuck does Hulk get all the way to the planet when he's flying at the end of Ultron?
Because the ship goes into the devil's name.
Sure, whatever. Cool. Yeah, I believe it. That's fair.
Yeah.
And by the way, Tim, I don't love all of them, but Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix wasn't as bad as everybody thinks they are. Just saying it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Honestly, if you pick most comic book movies, I'd watch probably all the X-Men movies before I'd watch a lot of the other ones. I like X-Men. It's my favorite.
You don't think First Class is a better X-Men movie than this one?
He thinks it's just Professor X and Magneto.
As a team?
I think it's Professor X and Magneto.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
It's close. It's close. Kevin
right, and just real quick. Well, first of all, Koho.
Oh, you didn't get to talk. I'm so sorry.
Oh shit. By the way, I totally forgot about this film. I just didn't say it out loud. I waited until my turn, I guess.
X2. Oh.
Yeah, I did totally forget to get that.
But 2 scenes from Watchmen. Oh.
Yes. Yeah. The chat's already told me enough already. I've stopped reading that in a while. But anyways, I would have picked, or one of the ones I would have picked probably is the Wolverine versus Lady Deathstrike. That was an amazing scene. But anyways, that's a great choice. I wish that's just one that never came up, and I really wish it did. But it's a good one.
I will say I applaud Jake Marangoni and Michael Campbell as my faction mate. I think they just put this on in the background, and then they hear something that they are against. They come in and type. I appreciate you both so much. All right, Thomas, what is your next one?
All right, my 35 is Joker at the Art Museum from Batman '89.
No. Nope.
All right. I think this is the quintessential campy, silly, slightly sadistic Joker scene we have. Because you have the scene where this whole scene is great. Joker busts into the art museum, playing Prince, messing up paintings, just wreaking havoc everywhere. It's a fun scene. Jack Nicholson does such a good job. The way he's sort of directing his henchmen around, and all of a sudden he's like, nope, not this one. I like this one. Just the randomness of his character and him saving this one painting and then going up to Vicky Vail and his behavior in front of her. I just think the scene is just a great fun scene that I think everyone has the ability to laugh at. And I think Nicholson personally is my favorite Joker. He's not the best Joker, but he is my favorite Joker. All right, read me. Let's go. I'm ready. Come on.
So when I was growing up, and especially with Heath Ledger's Joker and stuff, they're like, can they top Nicholson? And I was no, absolutely not. Like '89, what I remember was great. Like no. Then I rewatched it. I'm like, could he top him? Pretty easy to top him, in my opinion. I don't understand the love for this movie. I think a lot of it's nostalgia, and I understand that. I understand what it did for Batman, but like that, when I watch movies, sometimes I literally can say out loud, "Oh, come on!" Like, and that's as soon as I hear Prince start playing and his ass kicks through the door and he starts walking through. I'm like, fucking kill me at this point. Like, I'm done with the movie. Like, I think it's a fine scene for Joker. I just don't like where the movie goes in this. That's my main problem with this. So the scenes can mean a lot for other people, and I respect that and understand that, but they'll never mean that for me because I honestly just don't like 89's Batman. I honestly don't like 90s Batman. Shoot me, I'm sorry, I just don't. Unless it's the Batman animated series. Okay, so everybody else on Joker at the Art Museum.
I understand the love for this movie. I really get it. I just don't agree with it. This is definitely, in my opinion, not the best scene of this movie. I would have taken the emergence as I am Joker when he kills Carl Grissom. I like that scene a lot better. I like the scene where he meets with the mob bosses and kills the guy with the electric handshake. Like, I like that scene better. This scene just isn't special for me.
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I'm with, that's one of the reasons I picked the other scene, but I don't know. This scene fits the film. I get it, but it just, I feel like it goes on for a little bit too long, and it's really campy. And I mean, I know the whole movie's campy, but it's just that's just the way I feel about it. It just kind of goes on for a little too long. It's just like, okay, I get your point. Let's move on, kind of deal. So it's not a terrible scene, but it's there. I understand its point in the movie.
So after watching them 100 times, I have grown to hate all four Burton and Schumacher Batmans. Absolutely cannot stand them. I think Jack Nicholson as the Joker is actually a bright spot in all that stuff that I hate. However, this scene that you picked, the thing that bothers me the most is I get why the Joker's all crazy and he's painting on stuff. Who the are these henchmen? Who the hell are you, Bob Lawrence? What, you just come off the street and you get your jollies out of painting on paintings in the art museum? Like, that has always made me so confused. I'm like, why are these people as crazy as the Joker and acting like the Joker?
They could have been like mob enforcers with Napier, who just like brought along.
Yeah, but then they're in the museum. They're like, oh, look at me!
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm just like, who the hell are you guys?
You need to work for Cinema Sins, like seriously.
What?
You need to work for.
Oh, I need to work for. Maybe Cody said it. DC is there's some bright spots, but DC in general is a graveyard, and I cannot stand any of the Batmans in the 90s.
What I will say is, you four on the call, especially because I know Nick Carly is diving into Phantom this season. You guys have had to especially the other three have had to dive into these movies numerous times at this point. So you pick up on shit and you find things that annoy you each time you watch it. And I understand Nick's criticism, I'm watching Batman 89 for the 7th time, and now I'm saying, why the mobster? I understand everything. For me, some of the movies I've only seen once or twice, so I don't have as much criticism as you guys. So it's kind of nice. That's why I picked the panel I did for this this week. Okay, 34, Scully.
Yeah, so my 34 is Cap grabs Thor's hammer in Avengers Endgame.
Yikes!
Holy, yeah, that's kind of involved in a different one for me.
Yeah.
I wonder where it's going to lie. All right, everybody. Robert.
That was 34? Jesus.
Tell us where Howard the Duck is.
Howard the Duck is not on my list anymore, although there was one in my 260 estimates.
Okay.
My number 37, Koho will agree with me on this one. It is from Men Black 3. It is the perfect moment at the baseball stadium. This is I'm also not I'm not a massive fan of the Men in Black franchise. This is my favorite scene across all 4 movies. I love this scene. This is Michael Stuhlbarg at his maybe his best. This is it's where Will Smith and Young Kay go see Michael Stuhlbarg's character at the baseball stadium, and he just has this great speech about moments in history and about what defines a miracle and about what he loves about the miracle of human existence and how there's all these realities going on at the same time, but ultimately there's obviously only one that can come to fruition, but he's seeing also they go to this baseball stadium, it's empty, touches back, they see him watching the future World Series. Great scene. Love this scene from this movie. Great Michael Stuhlbarg, great sort of bewildered Will Smith, and it's just a great scene about humanity. Just really like the scene.
Yeah.
Maybe not his best performance ever, but I really, really like Stuhlbarg in this movie. Yes. I have seen Call Me By Your Name. I've also seen Serious Man. He's very good in that too. So maybe not him at his best. I would say his top 5 scenes as an actor, maybe Hugo as an actor. I don't know.
You did a Koho. It's fine. You said something and everybody.
You're right. I'm backtracking because I said what I said.
No, that's fair. Yeah, Koho still hasn't backed out. The Knives Out is the best screenplay of the 21st century. I think this is the best scene in any Men in Black film. I actually really like this scene. When you said 4, I said, "What the fuck are you thinking?" And then I was like, "Oh shit, International did come out." Go fuck yourself, Koho. You did not say 2010s. I will pull up the clip. You said 21st century.
I have said 2010s every time.
Shush. Gosh, you didn't want to be on the episode. You seemed to interject a couple times today. Okay. I think this is the best scene from any of the Men in Black movies. I haven't seen International, so maybe there's a fucking gem in that one, but not seen it yet. So what does everybody think about the scene?
I mean, I'll go ahead and say I'm watching it on my other screen right now. And I remember this. I've only seen this movie maybe twice, and this is a really good scene in the sense of the film. I just haven't seen it enough to really put it on my list. That's really all I've said. But I do remember this scene now. It is sticking out even from the couple times I've watched it. I really did enjoy it. So this is a good one.
Yeah, this and another scene from this movie were floating around my low 30s into the 40. Just in the end, I chose other scenes. This scene is still really, really good. I love what Stuhlbarg does in this scene. It's not my favorite Men in Black 3 scene, personally. I think there's another one that I think is even more emotional. But this scene is still really, really good.
I think this is a bad movie, but I like it more than most people. And I guess I hadn't really thought about it. And I think it might just be where the scene is placed, in the sense that, like, after all this sort of ridiculousness has been going on, like the moment of actual, like, somewhat depth, levity and depth in what Men in Black is actually trying to, like, say and convey didn't come through, just because I was so distracted by all the nonsense going on.
That's fair. But the theme of this scene is very good. The themes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So he's like, oh, the baseball was hit 2 centimeters too high. Who would have been born Clara? Blah, blah. Yeah. So yeah, no, I agree. It's actually really good.
All right, what's your next one, Robert?
My number 36 is from Thor Ragnarok. It is the battle on the Bifrost at the end.
That is
when Thor unleashes his power.
Yeah,
hold on. That's a yikes for a different episode.
Same here. Yikes for a different episode.
Okay, cool. What's your 35?
My 35 is from The Dark Knight. And it is the underground chase scene. When Batman gets in the Batmobile, he rides the Batpod. It's the hit me. It's that whole scene. Gordon's alive. That entire sequence.
Okay.
I love this movie, obviously, and I love this scene. It starts with a gorgeous shot of Gotham City, and yeah, it's in Chicago, but it feels like a big city. Again, atmosphere. Like, you feel like you're in Gotham City in this scene. It's where they're transporting Harvey. It's where Joker pulls up and he's got the slaughter is the best medicine on the side of his, like, truck, and he tries like 5 different guns. Like, he's got a pistol and an Uzi and a shotgun, and they're like, oh, we're gonna need something bigger, and he pulls out a bazooka and, like, starts blowing up cars. Batman shows up in the tumbler. It's like the peak of, like, Nolan practical effects. It's the truck flip once they get up to the highway. It's the come on, I want you to do it. I want you to hit me. Like, it's that great scene. It's when Batman shows up. It is some of my favorite small moments of Heath Ledger's performance in this movie. Like, when Batman shows up, he's just like, Like, he just like does this. He's like, "Excuse me, I want to drive." Like, it's those little moments, or like when Batman doesn't hit him on the Batpod and he like swerves out and spins out. He's like, "Ugh!" Like when the guy gets electrocuted trying to take off the mask. Gordon puts the gun up to his head and he's just like, "Would you just give me a minute?" Like, it's just incredible Ledger, incredible practical effects by Nolan, incredible the combination of practical and visual effects. Gordon's alive. Great scene for The Dark Knight. One of the best chase action sequences.
Yeah, you hit the nail. When I was thinking of the comic book scenes, this is definitely one that came up. I enjoy the scene. I mean, The Dark Knight's been talked to death in this community. But no, it's still that underground chase scene is one that I think goes under
in a movie that has like dozens of different scenes. This is one that people
I think
don't
it's overlooked of how good it actually is, because there's a lot that you can pull from. So yeah, good choice, Robert. Everybody else, no one else had this scene, so I'm curious what does everybody else think about the underground chase.
There's just so many other phenomenal scenes from this movie that I wanted to put on this list and didn't want to oversaturate my list with Dark Knight scenes. So unfortunately, this one had to.
I did that.
Miss that.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm in the same boat as Scully. I didn't want to put too many Dark Knights on mine, but this is an absolutely brilliant scene. There's no question about it. It was probably at like 41 or 42. It was in my like initial list that I didn't end up putting on there. So too many Watchmen scenes. Anyways, go.
My list is oversaturated with a different character whose name is not Batman. But this is a very good. This whole movie's good. Like you couldn't point out a bad scene to me in The Dark Knight. But this doesn't crack the top 3 for me personally.
That's fair.
Might not for you either. Who knows? Let's find out.
We'll see. So that was my 35. My 34 now, right? Is from Kingsman: The Secret Service. It is the bar fight. Manners maketh man. The first bar fight in that movie. Ultimately, I'm sure some of you may have the other action scene from this movie on your list. I chose to put this one instead because ultimately I just like this scene more. I love that other one. It's a little bit too frantic. It's a little bit too overwhelming for me. I like this one. It's a little bit more subtle. I love this movie. It's the perfect, Eggsy and Harry are having this conversation about his father, about his past, his future, about, they're talking about what people are given in life, the privilege, things like that. And then these guys come in looking to start a fight, and it just it's so good. The manners make the man is a great line. It's overused now, but it's a great line. No one does this sort of like dynamic action quite like Matthew Vaughn. Like Nolan does it too, but like with Matthew Vaughn when he does it, it's close-up shots and it's quick cuts, but you can tell what's going on, and every single shot, you know exactly where everybody is in this fight. It's just brilliantly staged and filmed. You get the gadgets the first time you really see the gadgets in the movie, right? The umbrella, the amnesia dart, the magnetic like rope thing. He goes after he basically kills a couple of these guys and like just beats them up. He just goes back and like takes a sip and finishes his beer. And he's like, had to let off some steam. It's been a rough day. Like it just a great comedic scene as well. I just really like the scene, and this is the one from this movie that I went with.
The terms manner maketh man makes me twitch. It makes me literally want to throw up at this point. All season long, I've heard manners maketh man. Let's do this. I think this scene is great. This movie I appreciated more after watching the second one for the first time this year, because that second one is bad. It is bad. I don't care. That is a bad movie. This movie, there's a lot that you could have pulled from this one. This is definitely one that I think I like this one more than the other action scene that most people would have on it, just because I think it has more character moments in it. So yeah, I'm cool with the bar fight. Well done on your last two. I probably put the underground chase a little higher than this one, but either way, they're interchangeable. So at 34 and 35, they're interchangeable. So what does everybody think about the Kingsman bar fight?
I like it. Koho's ruined it for me, and it's probably my second favorite scene in the movie. Which, spoilers.
I don't have the other one.
Yeah, I like this scene. I think I just think that in the grand scheme of the film, it's overshadowed by another fight scene. So while it's really good, I don't like it as much as the other one. But it's not overused. What are you talking about?
But I mean, I hate to just be a broken record at this point, but I'm in the same boat. Like it's obviously a fantastic scene. It's just like everything Robert said, I completely agree with. So this and the other scene that we're all referring to are both very on the same boat. So honestly, now we're talking about it, I'm kind of mad I didn't put it on my list.
I also knew it. I knew other people were going to have the other scene, so I wanted to sneak this one in there.
That's fair. This is almost a no shit. If you want to put a half oh shit, Koho, it's up to you.
Oh, we don't do half oh shits.
That's fair.
What? All right, so we're going to trade one apiece now. So 33, TWOHIG.
33 is also from Days of Future Past. It is the Sentinel's final attack in the future. Okay, so I love this movie. This is my favorite X-Men movie. This is my favorite non-MCU Marvel movie. And it's just the dystopian future they set up in Days of Future Past, I think, is one of the best dystopian futures in film. And I think it's really cool watching in film that doesn't like focus on the dystopian future. Let me backpedal a little bit. I think it's cool. You get to see your favorite X-Men die as they like fight for their life towards the end. I think it's better if you take it from the Rogue cut. The Rogue cut's actually my favorite version of this film. Knowing that Rogue is in there with Logan and not Kitty Pryde actually adds another emotional layer to it. And I think the action's really great. I think you feel for the mutants you just met in the movie, like Blink and Warpath. You feel when they die. Magneto gets stabbed, and you're like, holy crap. And you get to, well, the coolest part is you get to see the juxtaposition of how they were as young kids with Fassbender and McAvoy as to them, like pretty much what seems like the end of their very long journey together. So that's why I think this is the best scene in the movie. That is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. The end scene, when everything's going down and like, you don't know what, like, are they going to get, you assume it's an X-Men movie, they're going to get away with it, but like, as it's like taking out each person and like they're adapting to each one and like and like, isn't it Kitty Pryde at the end that says, not today, assholes, or whatever?
That's at the beginning.
Oh, that's at the beginning. Sorry. Okay, so I'm mixing them. But like when they go back and they shoot the beam and they just van. Isn't that the vanish part? Yeah, they vanish at the end. Yeah. I think it's just so cool because it is that long journey because it brings in the old and the new together, and you're losing each one, and you think this could be the final stake for all of them. And then, I agree. This is probably the best scene in this movie. I think it's incredible. I think there's one that maybe you can argue just how cool it is, but this one probably has the most impact. So, well done to what does everybody? No one else had this, so
there's just other scenes from this movie I like more. This is a great scene, great action scene. There's just like 2 or 3 other scenes from this movie I prefer.
Yeah, I do really I love this scene. This is, again, I think I agree with you. It's my favorite non-MCU Marvel film. Everything in this movie is great. There's just another scene from this movie that I think is just so well done. In the grand scheme of things, it overshadows the rest of the scenes.
And I clearly picked the wrong one, is what everyone's coming to right now. But no, I mean, this scene was right after mine. If that, I don't know, that didn't help. But either way, you're right in the impactfulness of this scene. It is like the emotional wrap up of this scene was brilliant, very well done. Like I really enjoyed this scene as well. It's definitely a very good pick. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nick, what did Thomas, did you ray on it?
Yeah.
What?
Okay, never mind. Okay, Carly, what's your 33?
I don't know. This is a very, very minimal scene, but I still put it on here anyways. From The Dark Knight, I put what's called the blackmailing Batman scene from Dark Knight, where the secretary like looks up and finds all the stuff they're developing and says, "It's like, oh, I'm gonna ask for a ridiculous amount of money," and Morgan Freeman says,
"Good luck."
It's like you're gonna. Yeah, you're gonna try to. It's like you're gonna try to blackmail a guy that goes up and beats up people in the street, at night. Good luck with that. I don't know. Just that's just it sums up Lucius Fox perfectly to me, and it just sort of like the guy's clearly not thinking about what's going on, and I don't know. It's just I talk about it now, and then I remember, the underground scene from earlier, and I'm still going to stick with it. This is my list. I've got it. Anyways, I enjoy this scene a lot. Like it makes me laugh every time I watch it. I've seen this movie, probably close to 10 times, and it makes me laugh every time I watch it. So I had to put it on my list somewhere.
And just to correct, because on the banner it does say Batman Begins. It's from The Dark Knight.
It is. No, I did. I corrected it. I apologize, Koho. It is from The Dark Knight. I confirmed it just a second ago. So
okay, that's good. I'm just making sure because this is a scene that I absolutely love from it. It's like, good luck. I've said it numerous. Good luck. That's just because he's like, oh, so your plan is to
Yeah.
Fuck you. Like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work out for you, buddy. I think this. I think you even said, listen, Nick. Listen. Welcome to Your List Sucks. You're gonna get beat up for your opinions. It's okay to have.
I'm reading the comments. That's my problem.
Defend yourself, and you'll be fine. I think this is actually one of the great scenes in this movie. Like, when you take away all the other Batman and Joker stuff, like this scene, I think could be top 5 in that movie. I think it's incredible. Just because it's like, it's the levity of who Morgan Freeman's character is, the Lucius Fox. Like, he's like, it just shows you who Batman is and like everything. Like, go ahead, see what happens. So no, I think I actually like the choice. Everybody else did not have the scene. Why not, guys? More scenes from Dark Knight.
Yeah, I prefer the action scenes of Dark Knight. I prefer the ones with Batman and with Joker. It's a good scene still. Yeah, I just prefer other scenes.
There's just so many other really great scenes in this movie. I think it's probably the best like single Lucius Fox moment in this trilogy. Is just the smarts, the snarkiness from him. But again, if you were to do top 10 Dark Knight scenes, this would be low on the list.
I agree. I like the levity. I think it's actually I said it before. I don't think you can find a bad scene in The Dark Knight. But yeah, might crack the top 10 of scenes in The Dark Knight.
I think it does of Dark Knight, in my opinion. at least.
That's fair.
No, I agree. Okay, Scully, what's your 33?
My 33 was a yikes from earlier. It is Iron Man in the town of Gulmira from Iron Man.
I mean, that's still a yikes for me, but I don't know if you want to include.
Nope. If it's still yikes, we're
it's a yikes from another episode.
And just
Okay.
and just to be clear, this is the moment where he flies to Gulmira in the suit and takes out the terrorists.
No, this is not the same scene then.
Oh,
Oh,
these two have the
I
prison
apologize
break,
then.
the cave break.
I have him
I'm
at
Cave
eight.
break.
I'm thinking of the cave break. I apologize.
Oh,
that's
so
what
you two have the cave break, you have the other one. Okay, go.
I have
You
the
can
cave
throw-
break.
No,
Okay.
mine's this one. Nick has the cave one.
Oh,
I
Nick
have-
has the cave break. You two
I have-
have
Because I said in Gulmira, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then yeah,
Okay. I'm
blowing up
sorry.
the tank.
we're
That's
talking
is that
about
what
the
you
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, are we good?
Yes, we're good.
I absolutely love this scene. This scene, it's really the biggest turning point of Tony Stark in this film, where he finally sees the total error of his ways and what his weapons in the hands of the terrorists have done to the civilians in that region. So he takes what he's just created, flies down, and essentially tries to fix what he's broken. Because that's what the hero of Tony Stark does. He tries to fix things that are broken. Now he's trying to fix the errors of his life. I think that's a really nice symbolism of that scene. And also, seeing Iron Man just fly and kick ass for the first time on screen in a film, that was really, really cool to see. And again, the scene where he dodges the tank shot, shoots the missile, the tank walks away. I mean, that's one of the most badass moments in film, hands down. So I think this, just seeing his rage and anger in this scene and turning it into a force for good, hands down one of the best Iron Man scenes that we have.
I go. Yeah. So this was my 35. Very similar reasons. Only thing I would add, and this won't be the last time I say this, but the score in this scene enhances it so much. I think that tank moment is one of the best visual comedy gag you could do in an Iron Man movie, in the sense that the tank is so overpowered and it does nothing, and then Iron Man is just a little dinky missile that destroys it. Yeah, I think it's cool because it is the first time you get to see the Iron Man suit fully operational. People even have hostages, and his suit can target who to take out all at the same time. And even one of the most badass moments in the movie is when he reaches through the wall, grabs the terrorist, and instead of fighting him, he says he's all yours and flies away. It's
All yours.
Scene's great. Good show.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad we got the confusion cleared up of what scene is what. No, you're good. I think, unlike somebody on this panel, I absolutely love Iron Man. I think he's probably one of the best heroes from the MCU. And the scene is so cool because the MCU just should get a lot of credit for taking a B and possibly a C plus superhero and making him the star of the overall Avengers, because Tony Stark was never that big of a thing. And when he first gets to see the suit and he drops in and just wreaks havoc, basically, and then leaves them. It's the reason why I like Tony so much as a character, because he's an asshole. Basically, he's pretty just cocky, and he does it. And I think the scene's great. I think I love a lot about this movie. So picking one from that's not gonna get any bad points from me. Two people did not have this. Why no Iron Man? Robert, why do you hate Iron Man? You just gonna get it out for everybody?
I don't want to go into that right now. I don't absolutely hate Iron Man. I just think he's not that great. I had a different scene from this movie. I like this movie a lot. I've liked this movie more every time I've watched it. There's a different scene that I have instead from this movie, because I don't think the action is anything spectacular in this movie. I think there's better action in the MCU. There's better action in Phase 1 of the MCU. There's better action in Iron Man movies than in this scene. So good scene, top 100 probably still wouldn't crack. This wasn't in my 260, but there were 3 or 4 other Iron Man scenes that were.
Catwoman was.
I never said the movie one. Of course, like what the movie Iron Man would be, but not
Well,
this
it's
movie.
Catwoman in there.
Carly.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I have another scene, spoilers from this movie, but this is a very bad. I mean, him, shooting the missile into the tank and blowing it up is a very badass scene and obviously iconic. But it's good. It was definitely in my discussion. It just didn't make it on the list, unfortunately.
Michael Campbell says you guys legit just spoke gibberish. That's what everybody else felt when you guys did 70s movies. We didn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
Hey, I'll tell you what though, I added a lot of movies to my watch list once that episode aired.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Robert, where are we at? Where the hell?
33. I think my 33 is a yikes for another episode from somebody else. My 33 is Spider-Man: Far From Home, the Nightmare sequence.
Yeah, that's what
I think that's further to a different episode. So that was my 33.
Yeah.
All right, Tuig, what's your 32?
My 32. Suspense. Okay, so this is where I wasn't kind of sure if it was the same as Robert's or not. I said escaping the League of Shadows from Batman Begins.
Not the same as mine. Yeah, mine was the training montage specifically. Yeah.
They're like back to back, so
that's
right. I
relate to each other a little bit.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, do I just count it all as one thing? I guess not. I like this a lot because, like was said when we talked about Robert's scene, a lot of people are like, oh, why do you like Batman Begins? Like, the beginning's so boring, he's not Batman yet. To me, this, when he escapes, is the moment he becomes Batman. Because all the training with the League of Shadows is awesome and stuff like that. But then the moment for him to become a member of the League of Shadows or to become Batman happens, where he's asked to kill someone who hasn't had a trial, who he does not feel right killing in cold blood, like execution style, the way he's about to. So this is the moment he becomes Batman by deciding to do the right thing morally in his own heart. And actually, I guess when you think about it, he actually kills a whole lot of other people. But they're in the wrong because they kill innocent people all the time. And then he escapes this league that has shown themselves to be an insane threat throughout the training sequence. And saves the man who led him through it the whole time, even though they disagree on this issue. Obviously, Liam Neeson feels bad about it later on. But the scene itself is pretty great.
So Escaping the League of Shadows. Again, I looked at both of these and I said, one could be the other, one not. But I think they're different. I honestly think they're different. One trains him up. One, he said, peace out, I'm gone. I like both scenes. I like both scenes because they play pretty close together, so it's hard to pick. But yeah, I think it's a great scene. And it's the reason why I like Batman Begins so much, because it shows me more into Bruce Wayne than any other movie has ever showed me who Bruce Wayne actually is. Like, if we're being honest, you always get Batman, you always get that, but you don't get who Bruce Wayne honestly is. And this, him escaping the League of Shadows and having that square down, and you think that character's gone, and he's not. So yeah, it's really cool. I think Batman Begins is dope. What does everybody else think about Batman Begins and escaping the League of Shadows, not training with them? Now he's leaving. How do you feel?
Yeah, I really dig this scene. Again, it was one of those that was kind of floating around the very bottom of my list. Just chose some others, but I love Batman Begins. This is my favorite moment of that sort of first act of the film before he comes back to Gotham. So yeah, this is a great pick. Just didn't quite make my list.
Yeah, great scene. Love this scene too. I just like the 10 minute or the 10 minutes is exaggeration. I like the 3 minutes that happens before this slightly more than these 3 minutes. So that's why I had the other one.
Yeah, and I mean, this whole series of events is very good. Just setting up how Batman became Batman and everything like that. So it's a very good choice for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Did he mute?
No, I think he's just waiting for us to figure out the show.
Oh,
sorry.
I forgot I was muted. 32, Nick. I have been saying it, but I can't figure out.
I saw your lips moving. I just
I couldn't make out the words. I'm deaf. Okay.
Okay, my 32. It's actually a last second insertion because I had a repeat at this point. But I went with the first test flight of the Mark II suit in Iron Man. So, this. I mean, I think just this scene has a little bit of everything. Like, it's him, trying to figure out how to get the, to suit this to this everything to stabilize, and you've got the two robots doing their thing, and he got the funny scene of him throwing him against the wall, like throwing himself against the wall, and just like, and then him finally putting the mask on and just like and seeing all that display. That was a really super cool like culmination of getting everything together. So I feel like that was one of the main things. It's like, okay, cool, this is super cool. We're seeing the inside of Iron Man's suit. This is really awesome. And then seeing him do his first sort of like fly around, it was really cool. So I really enjoyed that entire scene as a whole. So, yeah.
All right, I had this as. Oh, sorry, Cody.
Oh,
go ahead. Where did you have it?
I didn't mean. No, I didn't have this on my list. I was just saying that like this was one of my last cuts. I do really like this scene a lot. No, I know. I'm sorry. I stepped on your toes. I'm sorry, Cody.
How does this show work? Yeah, there's one.
I'm sorry.
So no. What was the always saying for the first Superman movie? They could believe a man can fly. Like that made you feel like, oh, he can, like a superhero can fly. This movie makes it way fucking better. Sorry, it does. Thank you, technology. I really enjoy this. I enjoy Iron Man as a whole. I don't know if I'd pick this scene from Iron Man. There's a lot of good choices, but that first initial flight, and seeing Jarvis, like seeing the the inside the helmet and him flying around, is just so cool to me. I could speak. I could speak a lot about Iron Man on this movie. I think it's my top 5 MCU movie of all time. I think the first flight is super cool. I know it's going to be said. There's just so many scenes from Iron Man that I could put on this list, so I had to cut one of them. But tell me that just so we can move the show along, everybody.
There were just so many scenes from Iron Man. I couldn't even. No. But I do love this scene. This is like seeing Superman 5 for the first time, but better. So, and again, it's really overshadowed by the cave escape and Golmira and I Am Iron Man. There's just a lot of other scenes that overshadow this one. But alone, it's really good.
I disagree with Scully. I think this scene is better than the cave escape and in Golmira. I like this scene a lot more than those.
All right.
So Robert basically told the rest of you suck. By the way, Kaleb, I know you're back there and you're working really hard for the show. Nick has frozen, so I need to know if there's a yikes coming up or not.
Oh,
not you.
Oh, that
Twig.
Yeah.
So when he cuts out, just make sure you step in and say yikes if there's a yikes. Okay, so we're going to go to Thomas Scully, and what's your 32?
My 32. My 32 is Arthur stands on the cop car at the end of Joker.
No yikes.
I think this is just a great culmination of.
Didn't he just say it was a yikes? Didn't Code just say it was a yikes?
He said no yikes.
Oh, okay.
I said this is a great culmination of the character of Arthur Fleck throughout the entire film. This is the moment where the other people of Gotham crash into the police car he's in and free him. Then he stands on the cop car, makes the smile, and just basically says hi to all of his adoring followers. I just think that right there, that is the moment that the Joker, in terms of like popularity in Gotham, is born. That right there, that's the culmination of the film. It's my favorite part of the movie. I didn't necessarily love Joker. It's good, but I think this scene in particular, it's so powerful. It just shows the power of what one man and sort of his crusade against everybody who's ever wronged him. Basically, this is the end effect. The people love him. They're willing to crash into a cop car and free him so that they can adore him as like some kind of god. So this scene is really powerful. It's really good. So yeah, it's my 32.
So I don't know if you have other scenes from Joker.
I do not. I do not.
Well,
this is my personal scene.
I know one person definitely doesn't either. But I fucking love this movie. I think it was my second favorite of last year, behind Uncut Gems. I think this movie is. Would this be the scene from Joker that I would select? I don't know. I still think you get what you fucking deserve is probably the scene that I would honestly choose from Joker because it's the shock. I would honestly also take the call me Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Why? That's what you called me the first time. Honestly, if I'm picking an actual scene from Joker, it's probably when she walks in the apartment and says, "What are you doing here?" And the entire thing shatters around everything. There are so many things. You can not like it for what message it sets or what it is, but I think overall as a film, I think it makes you super uncomfortable and uneasy, and that's what I didn't expect from that movie, and that's why I like this movie. I don't care what message it gives me. It makes me feel a certain way that I'm uncomfortable and uneasy the entire time watching that, and I don't get that from any comic book movie ever, because a comic book movie always ends with the good guys on top and the bad guys in jail, but this one ends with you don't know if this was reality or not, and it's such an interesting point. And when he does stand on the thing and takes the blood and wipes it onto his face, you're like, this fucker is like completely descended into this madness. So like, I'm not here to get any like how you feel about the overall. I just think I don't. There's so many things that I could choose from Joker that stand out to me that make an impact in this movie. What does everybody else think about Joker? This scene alone in Joker. You can tell me what you feel about the movie, but
I mean, this is a movie I've only seen once. Absolutely phenomenal film, 100%. I haven't seen it enough to really include it in my list. That was the main reason. So I do really, I mean, and that ending scene like sticks with you for a while, and that was really good stuff. But I mean, like Cody said as well, there's so many good scenes to pick, but this is a great one because it is a fantastic ending to a great film. So it's a good. Great film.
As a movie, I have a lot of serious problems with Joker, but I think if you're going to pick a scene, this is a very good one. The one that I would have gone with, the one that was in my contention, it didn't make it, but is him on Murray Franklin, where he, kisses the doctor and is giving his jokes and shoots Robert De Niro. That's the Joker scene for me. I just have a lot of problems with the movie. Scene's very good, just didn't make my list.
Twig. Yeah. Arthur stands on the cop car at the end of Joker and smears the blood to make the smile. Thoughts?
First of all, my internet will cut out once per show for the next 4 weeks. So when that happens, for those playing at home, that is when you down your drink.
Don't tell Jake Marangoni. Don't tell Jake Marangoni. Jake, stop.
That is when you down your smaller drink, Jake. All right. So this scene is good. It's very good. It's not my favorite from the movie. And I almost wish they had ended it here. I think that would have made it a lot better. I guess maybe what comes after like lessens it for me a little bit, but I still think it's a great scene.
I think what comes next makes it more intriguing for me, but I understand you're both sides of it. Okay. Robert, what's your 32?
My number 32 might be a yikes for another episode. It is from Iron Man. It's the ending press conference. It's the Iron Man scene. It's false cards, all that stuff.
That's my 37.
Okay. Did Nick Carley have it at all? I'm having Koho look real quick just to make sure. I don't remember.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't remember if he said yikes when Scully brought it up.
I think he did.
This is the basically he eats the cheeseburger.
I think he did. I think he might have yikes into another episode, but I'll have to double check.
Koho is scouring right now, looking. I don't know. Carly's probably on his way back.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. Do you have the
ending press conference from Iron Man on your list?
I do not.
Okay. So we can talk about it.
Then yeah, I'll chat about this. Is the scene from Iron Man I chose. I don't love Iron Man as a character or as a movie, but this scene is brilliant. It is my favorite scene that encapsulates Robert Downey Jr.'s performance because he's talking at the press conference, he's following the cards a little bit, and then he just goes off the rails when Christine Everhart asks him the other question. His arrogance takes over, and he just becomes I am Iron Man. And it's not just him, right? Like Pepper and Coulson are really, really good in this scene when they're like, it's not my first rodeo, follow the cards or whatever, right? Like, and Pepper is like, oh, we'll hear from the strategic call me Shield. Like, it is a really good scene. It's a cap off to a movie that it is good. I don't adore it as much as other people, but I appreciate this scene, what it did for the universe. This is a very, very good scene.
Yeah, this is my 37. Sorry, did you want to say something, Cody?
No, I forgot you had to go. I was going to say some smartest comment to Robert. I'll save it in a second.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, this is my 37. Echoing everything but Robert said. What Robert said. The best thing about this is that after he says "I'm Iron Man," that's it. Movie over. It just leaves you right there. And because of that, it's so much more impactful because you're just saying like, oh, well, he just outed himself to the whole world. No one's ever done that before. It's this kind of state of chaos and confusion the movie puts you in that I love. And of course, that is Robert Downey Jr. at his best in this movie, just being like the suave, charismatic billionaire, and then all of a sudden being like, I'm Iron Man. So yeah.
I wonder if the second time he says it's going to make Robert's list. But anyways,
definitely not.
Oh, shut the fuck up, dude. I don't care how many times he actually says the line in the films. Shut up. The ending press conference, I think just that entire scene is like, he goes through it all. It's my second favorite line that's delivered in this entire movie. One is done by a villain, the other is done by Tony Stark. I think when he just stands up and says it, because up to that point, everything about superheroes is secret identities, keeping everything separate. Your life and stuff doesn't. There's a balance. You don't mix them both. And he basically stands on there and be like, "Fuck you, I'm Iron Man," basically, and it's great, and it ends. And some would say it arrogance, or one that now we have a hero to believe in that we actually know the face of, and that's what I like to hold true to. Go Tony Stark. Yeah, but a great scene. Nick, why do you suck? Why don't you have Iron Man?
Awkward when you realize Captain America was around for decades before that, but
retweet.
Yeah. And he schools them.
As far as the scene, if we were doing top 40 moments, it's a great moment. I am Iron Man. All the other stuff about the scene, I don't totally agree with. I don't love Leslie Bibb as Christine Everhart. I think she's fine. The moment between Coulson and Pepper is a good moment. I don't think it's anything to rave about. And yeah, no, like it's the I am Iron Man that like sort of throws you off and makes you go, wow, that's a great way to end the movie. But the whole press conference scene, there's nothing else really special about it to me.
And I mean, you literally took the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like just the moment of the I am Iron Man and just cutting it off is absolutely brilliant. I love that. But the rest, I mean, the leading up to it, I get it. It's fine. It didn't really stick out to me, but that last just that last line and then cut off was really brilliant. So that's why I didn't have it.
Okay. Tuig, what's your 31?
My 31, and this is not the last time this phrase will be uttered during these 4 weeks, but my 31 is, "But you killed my mother," from X-Men First Class.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is this?
It's the final confrontation. It's Magneto killing Sebastian Shaw. Yeah.
Shaw's death. Okay, yeah, I don't have it.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Oh shit.
That's a yikes for a later episode.
That would make sense.
Carly, what's your 31?
My 31, I went with I called it the Rage of Wolverine, but it's basically the when they're chasing through the woods. Oh, okay. Wow, I finally got one. Finally got one. Okay. Anyways.
And some would say at 31 it's the correct to get for one yikes. So good job. All right. Scully, what is your 31?
This was a yikes familiar. It is the 6 in a circle as was coined, but it's known as Avengers Assemble for the first time.
Okay.
This again, the quintessential Avengers moment from the first film. I think everything about this scene, starting with Hulk punching the massive Chitauri ship, the change from Banner to Hulk is great, and then just after that, up until they actually assemble, it's just so much chaos. You have Tony shooting the flesh in the Chitauri ship, it exploding, all the Chitauri taking their masks off and screaming at the Avengers, and then you have the lineup. You just sends chills right down your spine. Seeing these heroes together for the first time, it still gets me to this day. I end up liking Avengers a little bit less and less every time I watch it, just because I don't think it ages that well, particularly. But I think this moment still holds up over time. So yeah, it's this is how I end the first half of my top 40. Not first half, first quarter of my top 40.
Yeah, I had it at 37. I agree that every time I watch Avengers, it gets a little more dated. I like the movies that came after it a lot more, and one that came before it a lot more. Two that came before it. But anyway, this is the best moment in the movie, so much so that they brought it back to sort of riff on in Endgame when they go back in time. Again, to add on, because Kelly pretty much said everything, but the score. Alan Silvestri's score is what makes this scene for me. Because, yeah, it's cool to see all these people from all these different movies finally come together as they've been struggling this whole movie. But it's the score that makes you remember the pan and the actual getting together, assembling, if you will, of the Avengers. Even though
sorry.
So on watch, on my rewatch of the MCU, Avengers, the first Avengers fell the farthest in my rewatch. It's basically because I've probably seen that movie the most, and it's beat for beat. I remember everything and every little thing, and nothing is magical anymore. Nothing's like, there's parts that I like, of course, but there's nothing like that gets me excited like it used to. That first pair up and the spin and everything, I think it's cool. I just think the stuff that comes later is just more important now. If they stopped at this movie, it would still probably be up there. But I know what they do beyond this. I know the final battles that these characters fight in, and how naive these characters really are back then. And thinking this group, I can't think of the creatures they fight, but I like. This is shut the fuck up, Barber. It's a rhetorical. This is. I think it's just something that just. This was their biggest fight. This is the thing that was going to take them out, and then how wrong they honestly were at that time. But it is still one of those cool moments. So I don't fault it. I knew it'd be in there. I appreciate it stopping at 31, because like if this was in top 10, I would probably roll my eyes really hard and be like, guys, come on. But no, it to do my favorite, it started it all. It brought the Avengers together. So yeah, not bad. I'm just glad it ends here. Everybody else on Avengers Assemble.
It's fine. I mean, I pretty much agree with what you just said to make it boring, but I like you said, I did a rewatch as well, and I'm not that impressed with that movie as an overall, but that is the probably one of the best scenes in the film. So I mean, it is just, it's the iconic thing that everyone sees, and obviously the score is what pushes it, way up even farther than it probably should be. But it is a fun little thing to go with. So I liked it for what it was.
Yeah, to me, it's a shot, not a scene. It is a panning shot, and that shot is gorgeous and iconic, and probably the most iconic comic book movie shot of all time. But the scene surrounding it is Hulk punching the Chitauri. There we go. That's the words I meant to say with my mouth. And then it's Cap giving everybody orders, and that's the scene. It's not a special scene to me. It is just another scene in the fight of New York. It's not super special. It's a gorgeous shot. Them teaming up for the first time, obviously, incredibly iconic, incredibly important in the history of comic book movies. But the scene as a whole isn't really special for me. Okay. In the same way that like to agree that like Iron Man is like a line, not a scene. I think this is a shot, not a scene.
Okay.
Ooh, shots fired across over my head.
No, that wasn't like giving two shit. I'm just like that's just the
you're supposed
similar
to.
argument.
What the show is, you're supposed to give me. You're supposed to be nice.
How does the show work?
What?
Do I do my 30 through 29?
Who just went? That was Scully, right?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
Robert, close out the show. 31.
My number 31 is from Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It is the highway chase and the fight on the bridge. From the time,
Give me a minute.
Yep. So it's the entire highway scene.
Big ol' yikes!
Shit. Okay. Well, then we're not going to close out the show with that.
Okay. So that was the show, guys. I liked that the first one was quick. It needed to be. We'll go into longer episodes later, more in detail, more anger, more what the hell are you doing, as terrible movies go up a little higher. So the winner of this week, I guess I should say, of the show, I'm going to announce a winner each week. It's not really anything prestigious. I'm going to give TWOHIG the win this week. Overall. He had I love the first class scene. Batman Begins, he had the highest. Sentinel Attack, I think he included one. Men in Black was a little high on it, but he overall had some really good ones. The worst one was the bomb on 66. So again, it will change everybody. I might just give wins to everybody just to be nice. Next would be Robert. I think Robert was really close. I think it was pretty much separated. We didn't get to talk about the bridge fight, so I won't say anything. But yeah, he still had the Watchmen, so that's probably what drug him down. I'm gonna be honest with you. But we haven't talked about it yet, so let's see. Next would be Scully. Scully would I think Joker on the car. I think that was a really good choice to pick. Avengers Assemble a little high for me, but I'm glad it stopped there. If you would have had it higher, you had Art Museum, and last, not because it was bad. I think he just forgot some. I think if we're being honest, he forgot some, and he had some. He needs to be more confident with his list. That this is his list and he likes his list. So we'll see what goes on. Also, I think he mixed his lists up a little bit near the end. So we'll give him last for that. So we don't have them combined yet. Next week we'll be back same time. We'll be ranking. Coming probably next week, me and Koho will go over the month of November of YLS is going to be a viewers kind of pick month. Where we're going to come up with topics and we'll let you vote on them week to week and maybe pick who the host is for that week. It's going to be a lot of interesting ones. I'm probably going to put a poll of what you would like to see in this special. We have some that we'd like to pitch. So look out for the Facebook page on that. I want to thank the nerds for showing up and telling me how great comic book, and they'll correct me all of my trivia of what's this? It's actually called this, and they did this in this one movie. So I'm looking forward to that for freaking 4 weeks. But thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.
My God, what just happened?
You better lawyer up, asshole, because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
Get what you fucking deserve!
Return to your lady friend. Duncan, please return to your lady friend.
Long live the king.
Hasta la vista, baby.